Imagine a country where millions were homeless, cities leveled, and factories gone. That was Japan after World War II. Unemployment, sky high, economy in ruins. And yet, within a few decades, Japan became one of the richest and most innovative nations in the world. How? They didn't rely on sudden breakthroughs. They didn't try massive leaps. They used a little-known Japanese technique that focuses on tiny improvements every single day. A method so simple but so powerful, it could change the way you approach fitness, building muscle, or even your career. Stick around because this is how small steps become unstoppable results. You're not lazy, you're not undisciplined, you're not failing because you can't do it, you're overwhelmed. Every year, millions of people promise themselves a brand new life, a new body, a new career, a new mindset. They swear this time it will be different. They make huge plans, set crazy goals, and try to change everything overnight. And almost every single time they fail, not because they don't want it, not because they aren't capable, but because they try to do too much all at once. Think about how it usually goes. One night, you get a surge of motivation. You tell yourself tomorrow everything changes. You plan to wake up at 5 a.m., hit the gym, read 50 pages, eat perfectly, work on your goals after a full day of life, and somehow become a totally new person. Day 1 feels amazing. You feel unstoppable. Day 2 feels harder. By day 3, it feels impossible. Your body aches, your brain negotiates. That perfect plan now feels like punishment. So what do? You quit. And then you tell yourself, I just don't have discipline. But here's the truth. It's not about discipline. It's about trying to jump across a canyon instead of building a bridge. Let me give you an example. Imagine deciding to do 100 push-ups every single day. Day 1 hurts, but it feels heroic. Day 2, your muscles scream. Day 3, excuses start creeping in. By the end of the week, you've already quit. Not because 100 push-ups are impossible, but because that first jump was way too big. Now imagine a different approach. Day 1, 1 push-up. Yeah, just 1. Day 2, 2 push-ups. Day 10, 10. Day 100, 100. And now it feels easy. Same goal, totally different path. This is the idea behind Kaizen, a Japanese word that means continuous improvement. Instead of trying to change everything overnight, it's about taking tiny steps every single day. Not intensity, but consistency. And here's the big question. Why does something so small actually work? Why do huge plans fall apart while tiny steps quietly turn into massive results? The answer is simple. Real success doesn't come from huge leaps. It comes from small actions repeated without stopping, especially when no one's watching. So what exactly is Kaizen? Kaizen is a Japanese word that literally means continuous improvement. But here's the way to think about it in real life. It's all about getting just a little better every single day. Not a huge leap, not a radical transformation overnight, just small, consistent progress. Think about it like this. Most people want to get fit, make more money, or build a business, and they try to do it all at once. And honestly, that rarely works. Here's an example you might relate to. Let's say you want to start working out. The wrong way looks like this day. 1, I'm doing 100 push-ups today. Day 2, I can't feel my arms. Maybe I'll skip. Day 3, you quit. It happens all the time. Big goals feel impossible, so your brain says, nope, not worth it. Now, let's look at the Kaizen way. Day 1, 1 push-up. Yep, just 1. Day 2, 2 push-ups. Day 10, 10 push-ups. Day 100 push-ups, and your body handles it like it's nothing. See the difference? Tiny, manageable steps lead to big results without feeling painful or overwhelming. This works for more than just push-ups. Want to get smarter? Read 1 page a day. Want to grow your career? Learn 1 new thing every day. Want to build a habit? Focus on improving by just 1% daily. 1%, that's it. Doesn't sound like much, right? But here's the secret. 1% improvement every day compounds. After a month, you're 30% better. After a year, you're completely transformed. The science behind it is simple. Your brain doesn't like big jumps. It resists change. Small steps though, your brain accepts them. No fear, no stress, no excuses. Just progress. Kaizen isn't about intensity, it's about consistency, it's about showing up, even if what you do seems tiny or meaningless, because over time, those tiny steps add up to massive results. And the beauty of Kaizen, it's universal. It works in fitness, learning, business, creativity, and even relationships. 1 small improvement today can be the start of a life you never imagined possible. Small steps aren't just better, they're smarter. They work with your brain instead of against it. And they make success something you can actually stick with. Here's the truth. Most people don't realize your brain hates big changes. Seriously. It doesn't matter how motivated you feel in the moment. Your brain sees a huge goal and immediately thinks danger. Big leaps trigger fear, and fear makes you procrastinate, avoid, and quit. That's why most people start strong on Monday, and by Wednesday, they're back to old habits. Not because they're lazy, but because their brain is wired to protect them from too much stress. Think about it like this: your brain's number one job is survival. It doesn't care if you want six-pack abs, a booming business, or to learn a new skill. It just wants to make sure you don't get hurt, exhausted, or fail too hard. So when you say, "I'm going to change my life in one day," your brain goes, no thanks. That's where small steps come in. Kaizen works because it tricks your brain in the best way possible. Small, manageable improvements feel safe. They don't trigger fear, and when fear isn't involved, your brain allows consistency. Here's a real-life example. Imagine you want to start running. If you say, "I'm running 5 miles every morning," your brain screams, "Danger, you'll hurt yourself." But if you start with 1 minute of jogging, suddenly it's fine. 1 minute turns into 5 minutes, 5 into 15, and before you know it, you're running 3 miles without thinking twice. It's not magic, it's biology. Your brain rewards progress and punishes overwhelm. Another reason small change beats intensity, momentum, motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes like the weather. But when you commit to tiny improvements, momentum builds automatically. Each small step gives you a little win. Each little win gives you energy for the next step. Soon, you're moving forward even on days when you don't feel motivated. Consistency beats intensity, always. You'll get farther with a 1% improvement every day than trying to crush a giant goal all at once. This is why Kaizen works. It aligns with how your brain actually functions. It reduces fear, creates momentum, and builds habits that last. The people who succeed, they're not superhuman. They're just willing to take the tiniest steps over and over. They make change easy for their brains. And that's the key no one talks about. How Japan used Kaizen to dominate the world. After World War II, Japan was in ruins, cities destroyed, factories gone. The economy was shattered. Most countries would have taken decades to recover, but Japan did something different. Instead of looking for one massive breakthrough or trying to rebuild everything at once, they focused on small daily improvements. Little by little, step by step, they rebuilt their nation. This is where Kaizen really shines, not just for personal habits, but for entire organizations. Take Toyota, for example. Today, Toyota is a global powerhouse, but in the early days, they weren't. What set them apart wasn't a single revolutionary invention. It was their commitment to improving tiny things every day. One process here, one production step there, just small adjustments, repeated constantly. Over time, those tiny improvements added up, creating one of the most efficient car companies in the world. Sony followed a similar path. Instead of trying to dominate the market overnight, they focused on innovation, small experiments, and constant refinement. Every little improvement to a product, every small lesson learned added up into massive success. Honda did the same thing. Their engineers didn't just dream of perfect motorcycles or cars. They tested, tweaked, and refined day after day. One small adjustment at a time. The lesson is clear. Kaizen is powerful because it works for any scale, whether it's your life, a team, a company, or even a whole country. Consistent, tiny improvements beat rare bursts of effort every time. And here's the best part. The people doing the work often didn't notice the progress at first. It's invisible at the start. But months later, you look back and the growth is enormous. This is the same principle you can apply in your life. You don't need a giant plan or a perfect moment. You just need to start with one small step and improve slightly every day. Over time, your progress compounds, your skills grow, your confidence grows, your life transforms. Even a country that had nothing can rise to the top with this mindset. If Japan could rebuild from complete destruction, imagine what you could do with your life, your habits, and your goals. Most people who go to the gym fail because they try to do too much too fast. They plan an hour-long intense workout, a perfect diet, and expect to see results immediately. By day 3, they're sore, tired, and frustrated, and usually they quit. Kaizen flips that approach completely. It's about starting small and building momentum. Remember, small steps lead to big changes. Start with tiny actions today. Don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Just take the first step and let Kaizen guide your way. And if you want more tips on building muscle, habits, and long-term fitness, hit the subscribe button and like this video so you never miss an update.